had to come from Holland. And I thought, we've got this beautiful fire department garage here, full of vehicles. Why don't we have an ambulance? You know, we've got an aging community, and why don't we have either our own ambulance, or why doesn't AMR park an ambulance in our facility so it's more readily and quickly available to our community? We're talking now of repairing the road for an emergency road at the washout to save a couple, 3-4 minutes of having an emergency vehicle have to drive around. Well, I think a more pressing point is put an ambulance here in town so it's available to our citizens. We've got an aging community here, and it's important to be able to take care of people in case of an emergency. And I think it's just being able to become more aware of what is going on here in the township and the cities, looking at those issues, and being able to find solutions and being able to provide better services to our community.
Thank you. Cindy, do you need me to repeat?
What is our number one issue?
Pressing issues, and if you had what would your number one priority be?
Well, I think my number one would be reducing the supervisor salaries, would be my number one, and that won't take more than 10 minutes. But I think cleaning up our budget is really quite pressing. We have almost $500,000 of unfunded pension. We have some funds that we might not be properly treating, and we have to live within the means of the budget and figure out how to do that without loss of basic services and some unstatutory needs of the township. So we have to find out what the residents want and how much are they willing to pay for it. And that's really the question. I mean, I saw a survey one time that was about parks. And it said, what kind of park do you want? Do you want a ski park? Do you want a dog park? Do you want tennis courts? Do you want a swimming pool? And none of them had a price tag on them. So when you're filling out the survey, you had no idea of what the cost and the ongoing cost would be. So I think that's really important to cover our statutory duties and supplement them with what the citizens are willing to pay for.
Thank you.
Since you brought up budgets, I'd like each of you to tell us a little bit about your own experience in budgeting processes, if any of them have been municipal, or if they've been private or nonprofit, and just sort of give us a summary of how you would assess your own skills relative to the budgeting process.
I worked in a department budget in the city of Holland. I worked on my department budget for over 10 years. When I saw John's budget proposal, I thought, oh, it looks really familiar, the format. So I have done a lot of budgeting, municipal budgeting. Haven't done it the entire, I can do the entire city, but I did my department, which was over $1 million budget. So.
Thank you.
I've done same type of thing. In my last 3 jobs, it was all department budgets. They were over when I was at TR Yachts. The warranty went along with my staffing budgets and so on and so forth. So that all was well over $1 million as well. But never done a municipal budget, but it's having looked at yours, and, you know, budgets are very similar. there's their own animal, but yet it's still a budget. You're looking at different departments with funding and revenues.
Congratulations.
Being able to work within, keeping them in line.
Thank you.
Great.
I'm okay, but if, you can ask another question, but it's
Okay, I do have
Yeah,
one.
one of mine.
Okay.
I have a couple
Oh,
more. So.
I love behavioral interviewing, so, you answered the budgeting first, correct? Yes. Andy, tell me about a time when you had to deal with either a really difficult colleague, customer at one of your places like Tiara, or resident, somebody really angry, maybe raising your voice, and then how you dealt with it, and what was the outcome?
It happened too often, I guess you would say.
With both?
With both. Here it's somebody's very expensive
Yes.
toy.
Yes.
And they've had their vacation planned, and now they can't use it. Usually the first thing out of their mouth was, you gotta fix this right away, or do what I want, or you'll be talking to my lawyer. And so the first thing is you need to take hold of the situation, explain to them there's not a lawyer in the world who can fix their vote. I'm here to help you to make sure that you don't miss your vacation. So you have to be able to listen to what the issue was, identify what the issue was, and then either send our own people, we have field service people we would send, or we would arrange for the local service people to go take care of the issue to make sure that the person is back on the road.
And how did you handle, did you de-escalate the situation?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. You need to take the emotion out of it and get down to what's the issue and how do we tackle it to fix it.
Thanks.
Well,
Cindy?
Well, I too have had a lot of challenging customers, and most recently I had just started working at the city of Saugatuck. I was looking something up on the computer so I could share with him what I found out, and the computer wouldn't do what I wanted it to. And he got very, very angry with me and told me I was uneducated, undertrained, and had no experience. So I wasn't very happy with that. But I said, sit down and have a seat. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
And I found out that the computer server had gone down. I wasn't undertrained. And I said, let's talk about my experience. And we talked about that. He asked a few questions. And in the end, he apologized to me. And I was glad that it worked out that way. But that's the only way to handle somebody who is very upset, is to de-escalate, sit down, lay out some facts, figure out which way you want it to go, and let them think it was their idea.
You'll have to give me some advice on that. We got all sorts of people in there. Sometimes they slam out before you can start that process. But, I want to ask you both about a very specific issue question that faces the three communities right now. The Blue Star Bike Trail. Saugatuck Township has been quite a leader in the development and implementation and building of the trail, and it seems to be sort of stalled right now because of lack of support from the city of Saugatuck. So, having said that, that the township is pretty squarely behind these efforts, I'd like to ask you both, are you in favor of completing the Blue Star Trail? And either way, do you have any suggestions on how Douglas and the township could get a little more cooperation out of the city on this issue?
Are you first attending?
Yes.
First thing I want to say about that is that, I am not a policymaker in the city of Saugatuck. I just am a simple employee and I do what I'm told. So I don't get to vote on anything. I can be persuasive. I am in favor of completing the part of the bike trail through the city of Saugatuck. I'm not so sure about extending south until you resolve what are you going to do with the highway. I think that needs to be kind of addressed in advance,
The bridge push.
the bridge part. Then, so what would we?
Yeah, it answers
Yeah.
the first part, thank you, but I mean,
Yeah.
any thoughts? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
Well,
could you help us with council relations?
I think I
on this
could help
matter?
with council relations. I think that's really possible. I know that the business community has been pressing to get it resolved. There was a Sadaba meeting this morning, and they talked about how they have to talk to their city representatives and tell them why they want the bike trail finished. And even the city engineers had a resolution for it. So, but I don't get to vote.
Sorry, thank you. Andy?
I'm fully in support of it. I think it's a good thing. See people using it. It's a great opportunity for walkers and hikers and bikers alike to be able to walk safely. I'm in a walking group that we do the dunes on Mondays and we walk through town on Friday and Saturday. So, I think it's great that the township and Douglas are supporting it. And like Cindy said, I think we need to work closely with Saugatuck and try to figure out a way to finish it. There's certainly, as the township board or township supervisor, we don't get to vote either, but yet we can try to do what we can to show them how important it is to get it done.
Can I take it back? I do have questions
Of
specific
course.
for both of you. Andy, you're on the planning commission and you're doing a great job on the planning commission, and I know you've been on there for a long time. John's on there also. We usually only have one rep. Is that correct?
A board rep.
A board rep.
Yes.
So how do you feel about giving that up, or, I mean, have you thought about that? If we had Andy, what would happen with that?
Well, I think we sort of talked about it, but.
Yeah, it would have to be a discussion between John and
Okay.
on, who wants to step aside. There can only be one board representative on the planning commission. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a challenging job. Important job. You talk about heated issues.
Yeah.
But I think John and I can work that out and figure out.
But isn't it true, I mean, if, you could be board rep but not chair, correct? Yes. So it would open, the chair would open.
Oh, okay, all right, I wasn't sure about that. And how is the council and Saugatuck supporting this idea of you?
Very much so.
Supervisor?
They are very much in support. They're looking forward to ways to collaborate, to identify things that we can work on jointly. And we did check with the city attorney's office, and it's me holding this position would not be a conflict of interest, because again, I'm not a policymaker for Saugatuck. I'm just an employee that can do what I'm told. And there is a state statute regarding incompatible offices, and that was researched by our city attorney, and this would not be an incompatible office.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask you both, this is more of a bigger picture